So in today's lesson, we are going to lay out the measurements necessary to create our air compressor here. So we've already laid out our measurements for the skimmer body and for our skimmer fins. So today what we need to do is use our extra piece that has no markings on it. And to make sure we have the correct one, again, this piece is going to measure 3 3/4 wide by 3 1/2 inches high. So to make sure I have the correct one, just double check my measurements here. Notice again, 3 3/4 high by 3 1/2 inches tall. Okay, so now I've also labeled on our sheet here top and bottom. I want you to do the same on yours, okay? Because if we don't do that, we end up sometimes messing up these measurements and starting over. This is the most commonly made mistakes on this, and hopefully that will eliminate it by, again, labeling it top and bottom. The other common mistake is when students use the wrong tag board, all right? We've already used our 3 1/2 inch by 3 1/2 inch piece for our fins. If you measure this now and it's measuring 3 1/2 inches, okay, by 3 1/2 inches, we have an issue. It's not going to work. We have to be using the piece that's 3 3/4 by 3 1/2 inches. So again, up top here, I want to make sure I'm going to measure this side right here. This is again my 3 3/4 inch side, and I'm going to label this right here, top, and then just on the, I'm going to label this one here on as bottom. Okay, so just like it is on my drawing sheet here, top and bottom. So my first thing, what I have to do is I have to measure over from the edge of my tag board here 3/8 of an inch. Okay, 3/8 of an inch, or if I'm using a 1/16 inch ruler, it's going to be 6 of those lines, so 6/16. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find another, again, just a nice 0 point out. Okay, I'm going to use my 1 there. And I'm just going to measure over 3/8, or on my ruler here, 6/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I make a mark. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to 0 that out. I'm going to measure over. Make sure you can see that. And again, there's my 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 3/8. 6/16 or 3/8. I have, again, those 2 points of reference there. So now I can take and connect. Just like we did when the skimmer body, when we came off 1/2 of an inch, we had those 2 points of reference. We now have those 2 points of reference here as well. All right. So now I've offset this line right here 3/8 of an inch. What I've done is just this right here. I've went from here to here 3/8 of an inch. That's what I've just done. There's my measurement from here to here 3/8. Now I need to measure over this way 1/8 of an inch. All right. So from this way I need to measure over 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to take, and that's on my ruler, it's going to be 2/16, still 1/8, but it's just going to be 2 of these lines. I'm going to 0 it out here. I'm going to use my 1/2 inch right there. And I'm going to come over 1, 2, 1/8 of an inch, and I make my mark. Okay, see how I did that? Again, I measured over from this point here 1/8 of an inch. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this point of reference here to the bottom down here to that corner of that tag board. So I use my ruler here, my nice straight edge. I line it up at that corner down there, and I'm going to draw my line down to there, to there. Okay? Again, not cutting anything right now, not folding anything right now. We're just laying out the dimensions. So now I need to do the same exact thing on this side. I'm going to start over here on the side of my tag board, and I'm going to measure over 3/8 of an inch. Again, I'm using a 1/16 inch ruler, so I'm going to double that. It's going to be 6 lines on mine, 6/16. So I'm just going to find a nice little starting point right there. And this one, I'm using 2. Okay, as long as I know where my 0 is. And I'm going to count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6/16, or again, 3/8. If we reduce that down, I'm going to start the same thing down here. I'm going to start at my 2, measure over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3/8 of an inch. And now I have those 2 points of reference. So now I'm just going to simply connect those two. And I'm just going to just simply draw my nice straight line. Okay. So now what I want to do is, now that I have that, I want to take, and just like I did over here, I came over 1/8 inch. Now I'm going to come over this way 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to draw a line from the top to the bottom over here. So I again take my ruler here, line it up with my 0 point. This is mine's at 8.5. Can be anywhere on yours. So I come over 1 2/16 or 1/8 of an inch. And again, I'm working off the top, and I measured it from this way to the left. I didn't come over to the right. I offset it this way 1/8. And now again, I can take from that point there to my corner down here and just simply draw my line. And that's it. So what we have right here is the compressor. So I've laid out everything. Again, I have not cut anything. I have not folded anything, not bent anything. We're just laid out measurements. And that's how you lay out your measurements for the air compressor. Good luck.